Hey everybody, welcome to my website, facebook.com/WillTaylorJazz. I'm going to be making short little videos like this with content for you to share. If you would like me to address anything, play anything, any questions whatsoever, just let me know by emailing will@willtaylor.com. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the chop. Back in 1991 I had the opportunity to tour with the Turtle Island String Quartet, and when they called me out to California back then, I was, I guess, about 21 or 22 at the time. I had no idea what a chop was, and Darol Anger sat down with me and tried to make me learn how to do it. But it's something I highly recommend every string player that wants to learn how to play in a band to do this, because number one, it's very important when you play alternate styles of string playing, music that has a very rhythmic core to its being. It's very important that you be able to sustain rhythm on your own. And up until the time with the Turtle Island String Quartet, I had been playing with drummers and bass players, people that had to create a rhythmic sense on their own, but had never been really able to do it on my own. I do play guitar, so one of the things I recommend is when you're learning how to chop is to play along with a band or play along with recordings that have drums, because that innate internal sense of 2 and 4, the backbeat, you'll gradually just start picking that up. So in the beginning, you're going to be thinking about it a lot, and it's not going to sound like it's grooving. But at some point, it's going to click, and maybe you wake up one morning and you're hearing your rhythm on 2 and 4, 1, 2. It took forever for me to get the 2, 3, 1, 2, 2 that down where it was just natural and felt like a natural thing. And so when you start off, you may actually have to start thinking 1, 2, actually count it. But it'll eventually become an innate part of you, and I highly recommend, if you're a string player and you want to play in groups, that you get this down, because one of the things that after I did the tour with Turtle Island, I sat down with them and I said, could you guys give me an assessment of why it's you're not hiring me at that point, 1991, and one of the things they said is that I didn't have the backbeat down as an internal innate part of my playing, and I remember feeling a little upset about that, but as the time went on, I kind of developed that backbeat, and it was a good opportunity for me. I turned some disappointment into an opportunity and learned how to do chops on my own. So I'm going to do a little basic chopping, and again, if you have any questions, let me know. But you guys are probably familiar with the Turtle Island piece called Skylife, which uses the chop in a kind of moderate way. So basically what it's doing is the chop is kind of like it could be the hi-hat on 2 and 4, or if you're a rock drummer, the snare. So if you listen to a lot of drumming, you'll hear the 1. So you're basically subdividing 16th or 8th notes, and you're making sure that the chop comes down where the snare would be. So let me just start off with, that was kind of a complex example of how to use the backbeat, combining it with kind of a chordal double stop part that kind of acts like a rhythm guitar. So, but the first thing you want to do is learn how to place the chop. And if you look, you see how I'm angling the bow? It's at an angle. Most in classical music, you're taught to have the bow straight like this. And a chop doesn't work best like that. If you put it like this, and if you notice that I'm pointing the bow away from me, like in classical music, you're talking toward you, or a flat, but this is like away from you, and it's at an angle, and it's very much a wrist motion. If you notice, I'm dropping down, and it just locks into place on the strings, and it's a lot easier to do this on the violin, by the way, than the cello and the viola. I know, because I'm a violist, and I've tried to get this with other cellists. But if you're a violist and you can practice on a violin, it really gets the sound that you want. And if you notice, it's not going like that. It's actually just locking into place. The looser your wrist is, the looser your fingers are, the better this is going to work. And then when I have the upstroke, I'm actually, in this case, I'm making a sound. So the first thing you want to do is just practice dropping it. Get the drop, so it sounds like that. So I'll give you a different angle here. That's from that angle. You can stop this and play as many times as you need to. Okay, this is from this angle. Now see how much that bow is angled? I don't know if you can see what my wrist is doing. It's very much a finger, loose wrist kind of thing. So just get the drop. And the more that you have to kind of find that right place where it's just going to hit the string and lock into place. You don't want it to go. Or, let's see, another option. This is what I was doing in the beginning too, is sort of this sound. This is a good way to start, but it really sounds good if you can angle it. Okay, and the next thing you're going to add is the upstrokes. You're going down, and then you're grabbing the string and popping up, so you get a sound. That's the second thing you want to practice. You can practice any double stop that you want. Now, if you didn't want it to make a sound, you would just mute your left hand. So you just mute the strings like this. So, okay, now if I speed it up, this is what it's going to sound like. That way, if I'm not muting the string, these are 16th notes. Watch. 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm going to kind of speed up here. If I want to have the snare, pretend I'm playing a snare drum. If I want to have the 2 and 4, then I go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's something you can practice. Is just like map it out. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. See how the down, I mean, sorry, the accents on the 2 and the 4. So when you speed it up. So I got 16ths, and then I can throw in occasionally some actual bowed notes. That's where it gets fun, is when you start throwing in double stops. You can practice having fourths in your left hand if you want. So I've got an E and a B here. This would work over like an E minor, kind of like the Skylife tune. So, but I'm still keeping the the accent on the 2 and the 4 for that backbeat. So really helpful to practice this with a bass player or with records. You know, get old Motown records and start soloing. See how you can do it really slow? And then get faster. Yeah. Okay. So. And it works really well on the G and the D string, less well on the higher string, but you can do it. And then, of course, I guess if you're hearing bluegrass, you'll hear it mainly like this on the 2 and 4. Say if a bass player is playing. So that would be your basic idea for just doing like the snare drum backbeats in a jazz setting. So, but it's fun. I think it's fun to add in double stops and do more of like a funk thing. So there's 2 ways that you could use it. Let me see if there's any other thing to cover. Just have fun with that, you know. Just see how many different kind of chords you can get going on. You can do this too. So you can move around the strings, all 4 strings even. Experiment with this, and let me know if you have any variations. I would love to hear. So you could be like. So there's your chopping lessons. Back to review. So you're going to angle the bow. You're going to angle the bow so you can see it. And if you get good at it, you just practice getting your speed up, but still remaining relaxed. So you got the angle, you got the drop. The bow's not straight, it's at an angle. Can you see it there? Fingers are relaxed, wrist is relaxed. See how my wrist is down too? It's not up here. So you can't do it like this. You gotta have the wrist down, elbow down. If the elbow's way down, it's gonna help too. So you can just practice starting the 16th notes with no accent. Then add in the accents. And then add in the double stop. double stops. And by itself, it kind of sounds really harsh, but when you add a bass and other instruments, it really helps to have a rhythmic feel. The other thing to keep in mind is practice laying back behind the beat. Classical players have a tendency to play on top or ahead. Practice putting the metronome and seeing how far back you can lay back. If that's something you can develop, it's going to be a really great advantage that you'll have. All right, there you go. So enjoy the video. I hope that was helpful. Check out more at the Facebook page, facebook.com/WillJazz, Will Taylor Jazz. Facebook.com/WillTaylorJazz. You can also check out my blog, stringsattached.org/blog, and love to hear from you. So there we go. First video tip, how to do a chop. We'll see you soon. Love to hear from you.